Hello students. So this is our last video with the chapter ruling the countryside. Till now in this chapter we have discussed about how company became Diwan. Then we have discussed about that on becoming Diwan they realized that how they can invest in the agriculture over here and they can ensure that there will be a regular flow of income for them. So they devised certain revenue settlements like permanent settlement, Mehalwari settlement, Rohitwari settlement. We discussed about these settlements in detail. Then we discussed about how Europeans were interested in growing the crops that they needed. Then we took an example of one such crop was indigo. Indigo, we discussed about the history of indigo printings and then how Indian indigo became famous all over the world. And then we discussed about what was the reason behind Britain turned to India. And we discussed about the Nij cultivation and Royalty cultivation that was practiced to grow indigo. Now we are going to discuss about the Blue Rebellion and after. Let us see what was this Blue Rebellion and what happened after this rebellion. The Blue Rebellion, Blue Rebellion, also known as Rebellion of 1859. In March 1859, thousands of Rohits in Bengal refused to grow indigo. As the rebellion spread, Rohits refused to pay rents to the planters and attacked indigo factories with armed swords, spears, bows, and arrows. Not only men were interested in this rebellion, women also participated in this rebellion. Women turned up to fight with the pots, pans, and kitchen implements. Those who worked for the planters were also socially boycotted, and Gomasthas, the agents of planters who came to collect rent, were beaten up. People were very angry with the planters as well as they were very angry with their people. Whenever Gomasthas came to collect the land rent, they were beaten up by these rebellions, by the Rohits. They were very unhappy with the behavior of the planters. Next one, Rohits swore that they would no longer take advances to sow seeds, to sow indigo, nor be bullied by the planters' lathials, the lathi wielding strong men maintained by the planters. As we have discussed in the royalty system, that planters used to give cash advances loan to the cultivators, the Rohits, and in return they have to grow indigo on their 25% of their land, but they have to pay back their loan. So they realized that later on they realized that this cycle loan, they were always trapped in this loan cycle, and they realized how this system of Rohitwari system was. They realized that the prices they got for the indigo they produced was very low, and the cycle of loans never ended. So this made Rohits very unhappy with this royalty system and Nij cultivation as well. Now, why did the indigo peasants decide that they would no longer remain silent? What gave them the power to rebel? Clearly, the indigo system was intentionally oppressive. We have discussed about some of the drawbacks of Nij cultivation as well as we have discussed the drawbacks of royalty cultivation. And we found that they found the system very harsh. They found the system very harsh because they were always trapped in this loan cycle. Also, they had their land was becoming less fertile because growing indigo on that land. So they did not wanted to grow this indigo on their land anymore. But the question comes that from where they got this power to rebel. Clearly, indigo system was intentionally oppressive, but those who are oppressed do not always rise up in rebellion. They do so only at times. And one example of this rebellion is Blue Rebellion of 1859. Now we'll discuss about what was the reason behind this rebellion. First reason is support of zamindars. The indigo peasants felt that they had the support of local zamindars and village headmen in their rebellion against the planters. In many villages, headmen who had forced to sign indigo contracts mobilized the indigo peasants and fought pitched battles with the lathias. We have discussed about that the zamindars, the local zamindars, many a times royals were not interested in signing the contract, signing the agreement with the planters. So planters pressurized the village headmen to sign the contract on behalf of royals. So royals started believing that zamindars also are supporting this rebellion. Another is increasing power of planters. In other places, even the zamindars went around villages urging the royals to resist the planters. These zamindars were unhappy with the increasing power of planters and angry at being forced by the planters to give them land on long leases. As we have discussed about, planters were having their own land. If they were not having their own land, they used to buy the land or they used to take it on rent from zamindars. So zamindars were very unhappy with the increasing power of planters, and they were very angry by forced by the planters to give them land on leases or rent, because this land that was used for indigo was becoming less fertile once it was used. So indigo peasants thought that they had the support of villagers, zamindars, and zamindars were also supporting them. Another reason was the support from British. The indigo peasants also imagined that the British government would support them in their struggle against the planters. After the revolt of 1857, the British government was particularly worried about the possibility of another popular rebellion. When the news of spreading of simmering revolt in the indigo districts, Lieutenant Governor toured the region in the winter of 1859. The Royals saw the tour as the sign of government sympathy for their plight. The cultivators, the Royals started realizing that they had the support from British as well. But British were not supporting. They did not wanted another rebellion like 1857. Just they wanted to suppress this rebellion. So related to this, one event had happened. Like in Barasat, the magistrate Ashley Eden issued a notice stating that Royals would not be compelled to accept indigo contracts. Word went around that Queen Victoria had declared that indigo need not be sown. Eden was trying to just suppress the peasants and control an explosive situation, but his action was read as support for the rebellion. As the rebellion spread, intellectuals from Calcutta rushed to the indigo districts. They wrote of the misery of the riots, tyranny of the planters, and horrors of the indigo system. So these were the reasons for the rebellion. Now let us know what were the steps taken by the British government for this rebellion. Worried by the rebellion, the government brought in the military to protect the planters from assault and set up the Indigo Commission to inquire into the system of indigo production. The commission held the planters guilty and criticized them for coercive measures that they used with indigo cultivators. It declares that indigo production was not profitable for Royals. The commission asked the Royals to fulfill their existing contracts, but also told them they could refuse to produce indigo in future. So these were the steps that taken by the government for the rebellion. First, indigo commission was set up just to inquire about this rebellion. So they found the planters guilty and they criticized them. They declared that the indigo production was not profitable to Royals, and Royals did not have to sign the contract with the planters anymore. After the revolt, the indigo production collapsed in Bengal, but the planters now shifted their operation to Bihar. With the discovery of synthetic dyes in the late 19th century, their business was severely affected, but yet they managed to expand production. When Mahatma Gandhi returned from South Africa A peasant from Bihar persuaded him to visit Champaran and see the plight of indigo cultivators there. Mahatma Gandhi's visit in 1917 marked the beginning of Champaran movement against the indigo planters. So this is how the chapter ends, and about the Champaran movement we'll be discussing in the chapter about the India's movement, how we were able to Indians were able to fight against the Britishers and take our independence back. So we have discussed today about the Blue Rebellion, that is also known as Rebellion of 1859, and then we discussed about the result of this rebellion. Even if this rebellion happened, the indigo cultivation stopped in Bengal, but it started in Bihar, in other places, but people were very exploited. Champaran, we took the example of Champaran, people were exploited over there. But lastly, Mahatma Gandhi visited over there and he led the movement against this indigo planters known as Champaran movement.